50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous.
No Diddy party. Are you watching the documentary on Netflix?
I don't watch it.
Hey, bro.
How crazy is
Yo,
it?
he's horrible.
Bro, he allegedly Pac and Biggie.
Bro, both of them.
And I believe it.
Both of them.
Bro, it's crazy.
Allegedly. Horrible.
But no one knew all this shit until the documentary came out.
It seems
I'm not gonna lie,
like
50 Cent is cooking, bro. My opinion,
Is
he's cooking.
that his doc?
Yeah, he produced it. He
Shut
produced it, I swear.
That was the one he was gonna call Diddy Do It?
Yeah.
But it's called,
Bro, I'm not even joking, bro. Like, you gotta watch it.
I got
Mysterious Circumstances Involving the Deaths of Both Tupac and Biggie.
And it makes sense, because you know why? Think about it, like, Biggie and Pac were really good friends, bro. Really good friends.
Also so sad.
Diddy didn't fuck with Tupac, because Pac didn't fuck with him.
They drove a wedge between them.
Yup.
And then the one day Biggie was supposed to fly to the UK for a press tour or like Europe or some shit. And Diddy was like, nah, we're not going to the UK. Like, this trip had been planned for weeks.
Yup.
He's like, nah, we're not going to the UK. Biggie's staying here. Biggie's like, I want to go to Europe. I want to go to Europe. He's like, nah, we're staying here. We're throwing a party.
Yup.
In California.
And Biggie wanted to leave Cali. He's like, bro, I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't feel safe here. Why am I here?
Went to the party, got fucking shot that night.
Crazy.
I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years, and I have given all the proofs of who was involved with Diddy. I have presented the videotape of Diddy's parties as evidence. Now no one can save Diddy and the other celebs. Jay-Z, all of them were Diddy's handlers. After watching the rest of the documentary, you'll understand that.
The internet thought it had already seen every possible twist in the long history of drama between 50 Cent, Diddy, and Jay-Z. For years, their names have been connected to debates, interviews, and endless speculation about what really happens. Behind the scenes in the music industry, fans have treated every comment and every post like a clue in a never-ending story. But just when people thought the conversation had finally cooled down, a new moment arrived that instantly woke the entire timeline back up. It all started when Part 3 of a Netflix documentary connected to 50 Cent began making waves online. At first, viewers expected the usual documentary-style stories about success, business moves, and the rise of hip-hop culture. The kind of episode people watch casually while scrolling their phones. But halfway through the discussion, the tone shifted. Suddenly, the conversation moved toward industry power, influence, and moments from the past that many fans had never heard explained before. That's when the names started appearing again: Diddy and Jay-Z. The second those two names were mentioned in connection with a deeper story, the internet reacted immediately. Clips began circulating across social media faster than people could even finish watching the episode. Reaction channels started uploading breakdowns, gossip pages began posting screenshots, and comment sections filled with thousands of opinions. Within minutes, some viewers believed the documentary was finally opening the door to stories that had been whispered about in the industry for years. Others thought the internet was once again exaggerating a small moment into a huge controversy. But regardless of which side people stood on, one thing was clear: the conversation had reignited overnight. Memes started appearing across timelines comparing the situation to a reality show twist. Some joked that the documentary felt like a new season of hip-hop drama that nobody saw coming. Others treated the clip like it was a secret message hidden in plain sight. The reactions spread quickly because the situation involved three of the most powerful figures the culture has ever seen. Because when names like 50 Cent, Diddy, and Jay-Z appear in the same conversation, people expect drama. And as the documentary clip kept circulating, fans began asking the same question again and again. At first, the documentary moment didn't look like it was about to cause any major drama. It started like many hip-hop documentaries do: stories about the past, reflections on how the industry evolved, and conversations about power, money, and influence. Fans expected nostalgia and maybe a few behind-the-scenes details about how certain business moves were made. But the tone slowly shifted when the conversation started touching on the era when the biggest names in music were building empires. That's when the atmosphere of the story started feeling different. When you talk about the business side of hip-hop, certain names always come up. And in this case, two of the most powerful figures in the culture were suddenly part of the discussion: Diddy and Jay-Z. For years, both of them have been viewed as architects of the modern hip-hop business world. Their companies, partnerships, and investments helped transform rap from a music genre into a global industry worth billions. So when their names appear in any documentary conversation, people instantly start paying attention. But what made this Moment interesting wasn't just the names themselves. It was the way the conversation framed the past. Instead of the usual praise and celebration that documentaries often give to powerful figures, the tone hinted at complicated relationships, competitive energy, and stories that might not have been widely discussed before. The moment felt less like a simple history lesson and more like someone opening the door to a deeper conversation. As soon as clips from the documentary began circulating online, the internet reacted exactly the way it always does. People rushed to social media to share the footage and give their own interpretation of what had been said. Some viewers believed the story was revealing important context about how power moves are made behind the scenes. Others argued that the moment was being taken out of context and exaggerated by viewers who were eager for drama. One of the reasons the moment gained so much attention is because of the history surrounding 50 Cent himself. Throughout his career, he has built a reputation not only as a rapper but also as someone who isn't afraid to challenge powerful figures publicly. Whether through interviews, social media posts, or entertainment projects, he has often addressed industry tensions in ways that keep audiences talking. That reputation alone was enough to make viewers listen closely to anything he might reveal. Meanwhile, fans started revisiting older interviews and past headlines involving the three figures. The internet has a long memory, and people quickly began connecting previous comments, public disagreements, and competitive moments from earlier years. Old clips resurfaced across social media as users tried to piece together the full timeline of events. The discussion became less about a single documentary moment and more about the broader history between these major figures. Some viewers pointed out that hip-hop has always been built on competition. Rivalries, lyrical battles, and business rivalries have shaped the culture since its earliest days. According to that perspective, any tension mentioned in the documentary might simply reflect the competitive environment of the music industry. Others believe the conversation hinted at deeper stories that have remained mostly behind closed doors. Reaction channels and commentary pages quickly joined the conversation. Videos analyzing the documentary clip began appearing across YouTube and TikTok. Each creator offered a slightly different interpretation of the story and its potential meaning. Some framed it as a major revelation, while others treated it as another example of how online audiences can transform a brief moment into a huge narrative. At the same time, memes began spreading across social media. Some joked that the documentary moment felt like the opening scene of a new season of hip-hop drama. Others compared it to a plot twist in a television series where viewers suddenly realized that the backstory is more complicated than they thought. The humor helped the story travel even further across the internet. While all of this discussion was happening, fans continued watching the documentary itself, searching for additional details they might have missed. Viewers replayed the segment multiple times, analyzing tone, wording, and context. Some believed subtle hints in the conversation suggested larger stories that might be explored in future episodes or interviews. As the debate grew louder online, one thing became clear: the documentary moment had struck a nerve within the hip-hop community. When discussions involve figures as influential as 50 Cent, Diddy, and Jay-Z, people naturally expect strong reactions. These artists represent decades of cultural impact, business power, and industry history. By the end of the day, the clip had transformed from a simple documentary segment into a trending topic across multiple platforms. Fans were divided about what the story truly meant, but everyone seemed to agree on one thing: the moment had reopened a conversation about the history of hip-hop's most powerful figures. And as viewers continued analyzing the story, the internet began asking an even bigger question: if this was only the beginning of what the documentary might reveal, what other stories could still be waiting to surface? As soon as the documentary clips started circulating online, the situation moved from curiosity to full internet chaos. Social media thrives on moments that feel like hidden secrets finally surfacing, and this clip looked exactly like that. Within hours, the footage was reposted across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and every gossip page that covers hip-hop culture. People who hadn't even watched the documentary yet were already debating what the story meant. The internet had officially turned a short segment into a full-blown trending topic. TikTok was the first platform to turn the moment into pure entertainment. Creators began reposting the clip with dramatic edits and captions that made the scene look like a movie reveal. Some slowed the footage down and zoomed into the reactions as if they were analyzing a crime documentary. Others added suspenseful music, turning the conversation into something that felt like the trailer for a drama series. Within hours, the clip had been edited, reposted, and reacted to thousands of times. Then came the wave of reaction channels and commentary creators. YouTubers began uploading breakdown videos explaining the possible meaning behind the story. Some believe the documentary hinted at deeper industry dynamics that fans rarely hear about. Others argued that the internet was exaggerating a moment that might not have been intended as a major revelation. But even those who disagreed still kept discussing the topic, which only pushed the story further into the spotlight. Memes began flooding timelines almost immediately. One popular meme compared the documentary moment to a reality show twist where unexpected information suddenly changes the storyline. Another joked that hip-hop documentaries should come with plot twist warnings before certain scenes. These jokes help the story spread even faster because humor makes viral content easier to share. Meanwhile, fans began revisiting the long history between 50 Cent and Diddy. Over the years, the Tortoise have occasionally exchanged comments and playful jabs in interviews and on social media. Those past moments suddenly gained new attention as viewers tried to understand the bigger context. Old clips resurfaced online as people connected previous comments to the documentary discussion. The name Jay-Z added another layer to the conversation. As one of the most influential figures in music and business, his presence in any industry discussion naturally attracts attention. Fans began debating whether the documentary moment was referencing specific historical events, or simply discussing the competitive nature of the industry during a particular era. Each interpretation added another thread to the growing online debate. Twitter now called X quickly turned the conversation into a mix of jokes and serious debate. One viral tweet joked that hip-hop history has more plot twists than a television series. Another said that anytime 50 Cent starts talking about industry stories, the internet instantly prepares for drama. Thousands of people reposted these comments because they captured the excitement surrounding the situation. While memes and jokes spread, some viewers focused on the bigger conversation about power within the music industry. They pointed out that documentaries sometimes reveal how business decisions, partnerships, and rivalries shape the direction of hip-hop. According to this perspective, the moment in the documentary might simply be highlighting the complexity of building empires in such a competitive environment. Others remained skeptical and believed the moment was being exaggerated for attention. They argued that social media has a habit of transforming small statements into huge controversies. According to them, the clip might simply be part of a larger historical discussion rather than a dramatic revelation. But even those critics kept engaging with the story, which only kept the topic trending. Gossip pages continued posting updates about the situation with dramatic captions designed to attract viewers. Headlines suggested major revelations and unexpected twists, even though the exact meaning of the documentary segment remained open to interpretation. The more sensational the captions became, the more people clicked and shared the post. Fans also began discussing the personalities involved in the story. 50 Cent has built a reputation for being outspoken and unafraid to challenge powerful figures. That reputation alone makes any statement from him feel like it might contain hidden meaning. Meanwhile, Diddy and Jay-Z represent decades of influence in the music industry, which naturally amplifies any discussion involving their names. As the online conversation continued, one thing became clear: the documentary moment had sparked curiosity far beyond the original audience. People who had never planned to watch the series were now searching for the episode to see the clip themselves. Streaming platforms and entertainment blogs began mentioning the story as interest in the documentary increased. The situation had now reached a stage where speculation was driving the narrative. Fans debated whether future episodes or interviews might reveal additional details about the story being discussed. Some viewers believed the documentary might only be hinting at deeper conversations that could emerge later, and that anticipation is exactly what keeps viral stories alive online. Once people believe there might be more information coming, they continue refreshing their feeds waiting for the next development. The internet had turned one documentary moment into an ongoing conversation about hip-hop history and industry. Dynamic stop. By the end of the day, the timeline was still buzzing with theories, reactions, and memes about the clip. Some fans believed it was a significant moment in understanding the past. Others thought the internet had simply found a new storyline to debate for a few days. But regardless of which interpretation people believed, the impact was undeniable. The documentary segment had transformed into one of the most discussed topics in hip-hop culture that week. And as viewers kept replaying the moment and sharing their opinions, one question remained at the center of the entire conversation: if this was only one piece of the story, what other chapters might still be waiting to be revealed? As the conversation kept spreading online, the story slowly moved into the phase that always follows viral moments: the aftermath. The initial shock had already passed. The memes were everywhere, and the debates were still flooding comment sections. Now the internet was waiting for reactions from the people involved. Because whenever a documentary moment sparks this much attention, fans expect someone to respond eventually. Meanwhile, the clip from the documentary continued circulating across social media. People who had not even watched the full episode were now discussing it as if they had been part of the conversation themselves. That's the strange power of the internet. A few seconds of video can become a headline long before anyone knows the full context. The more the clip spread, the more interpretations appeared. Some viewers began looking at the situation from a bigger historical perspective. Hip-hop has always been built on competition, ambition, and power moves. From record label battles to business partnerships, the industry has never been a simple environment. According to that viewpoint, the documentary moment might simply be highlighting the intense dynamics that existed when the culture was expanding into a global business. Others believe the conversation hinted at deeper stories that might still be hidden. In the entertainment world, documentaries often reveal small details that point toward larger narratives. That possibility kept fans curious. People started wondering whether future interviews or episodes might explore the topic further and provide additional context about the moment. At the same time, fans continued discussing the personalities involved. 50 Cent has spent years building a reputation as someone who is comfortable speaking openly about industry situations. Whether through interviews, television projects, or social media posts, he has often shared his perspective on the music business. That reputation made viewers even more interested in the documentary moment. Diddy and Jay-Z, on the other hand, represent a different side of the hip-hop world, the side focused on building powerful brands and long-term business empires. Both artists have expanded far beyond music into fashion, media, and investments. Their influence reaches across multiple industries, which is why any discussion involving their names naturally draws massive attention. Because of that influence, the internet began debating the potential impact of the documentary conversation. Some people believe the moment could encourage deeper discussions about how the industry evolved during its most powerful years. Others argued that the story would likely fade once the next viral topic appeared. Even so, the conversation continued, dominating timelines for several days. Reaction videos kept appearing as creators offered their thoughts about what the documentary might have been suggesting. Each interpretation added another layer to the online discussion. And as long as people kept talking, the story remained alive. Another interesting development was how quickly the situation attracted new viewers to the documentary itself. People who had never planned to watch the series suddenly became curious about the episode. Entertainment blogs began mentioning the story as part of larger discussions about hip-hop culture and media storytelling. In many ways, the viral conversation helped the documentary reach a wider audience. At the same time, some fans began reflecting on how quickly social media amplifies certain moments. What started as a single segment within a documentary had grown into a full online debate involving thousands of posts and reactions. That transformation highlights how modern audiences participate in storytelling. Viewers don't just watch content anymore, they actively shape the conversation around it. Eventually, like most viral moments, the story began sharing space with other trending topics. New headlines appeared, new debates started, and attention slowly shifted elsewhere. That's the natural rhythm of the internet. Today's viral clip eventually becomes tomorrow's background noise. Still, the documentary moment left a lasting impression on fans who follow hip-hop culture closely. It reminded audiences how much history exists behind the scenes of the music industry. Decades of business decisions, creative rivalries, and personal relationships have shaped the landscape of modern hip-hop. For 50 Cent, the documentary moment reinforced his reputation as someone who continues to influence conversations about the culture, whether through music, television production, or commentary on industry dynamics. He remains a figure capable of sparking major discussions. For Diddy and Jay-Z, the situation served as another reminder of how closely their legacies are connected to the story of hip-hop's growth. Their careers represent an era when artists began transforming themselves into global entrepreneurs. Any discussion about that era inevitably includes their names. By the end of the conversation cycle, one thing became clear. The documentary segment had done more than just entertain viewers. It had reignited interest in the complex history of hip-hop's most powerful figures. And even though the internet eventually moved on to the next trending topic, fans knew something important about stories like this. In the world of music and media, history has a way of resurfacing when people least expect it, and just like that, a single moment from a documentary turned into one of the most talked about conversations on the internet. What started as a simple segment about hip-hop history suddenly had fans debating, analyzing, and replaying the clip like it was a hidden message waiting to be decoded. That's the power of social media. One scene can spark thousands of opinions before the episode even finishes. Streaming, some viewers believe the documentary simply highlighted the intense competition and ambition that shaped the music industry. Others believe it hinted at stories that fans have never fully heard before. And when names like 50 Cent, Diddy, and Jay-Z appear in the same conversation, the internet naturally expects drama, history, and a few surprises along the way. But that's what makes stories like this so fascinating. Hip-hop isn't just about music. It's about culture, business, rivalries, and relationships that have been evolving for decades. Every time someone revisits the past through a documentary or interview, new perspectives can appear. And sometimes those perspectives spark conversations that fans can't stop talking about. Now we want to hear what you think. Did the documentary really reveal something unexpected about the industry, or did the internet simply turn a small moment into a huge controversy? Do you think there's more to the story that could come out in future interviews or projects? Or was this just another example of how quickly social media can amplify a single clip? Jump down into the comments and share your thoughts, because the comment section is about to turn into a full discussion. Some of you might think the documentary opened the door to deeper industry stories, while others might believe the reaction was blown way out of proportion. And before you leave, make sure you smash that like button like it owes you money, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next time a major moment in hip-hop culture sends shockwaves across the internet. Because here on Fame Blueprint, we break down the stories behind the headlines, the drama behind the fame, and the viral moments everyone is talking about. Stay tuned, because the next revelation could be even bigger.